Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the It's Pizza Time podcast. I am your host, iNDiGO. Today I'm joined by my co-host, Victor.
It's good, guys.
My co-host, John.
Hello.
And our very special guest, Strocksu.
Hi.
All right. Nice. So
I didn't have much to say.
no, it's fine. It's fine because I mean I'm gonna ask you right now. It's like for everybody out there who doesn't know who you are, would you like to give a brief explanation who you are, what you do, all that good stuff?
So I make electronic music, and I've been making it for the past. It's gonna be 5 years in August, so 4 years and 11 months, and yeah, I mean that's basically it.
Nice. All right. Then that was probably the quickest that the introduction segment has ever gone on this show. It's usually been
I don't have a lot to. I don't have a lot to say about myself, dude. I'm not a big sicer.
I mean, yeah, okay. That's a fair point. All right. We'll move on to the precursor question. The precursor question is pretty easy. So we ask everybody on the show, what is your favorite kind of pizza?
Pepperoni, 100%.
Is there any
Good choice.
is there any yeah, okay. Is there any reason like pepperoni over anything else?
It's just I don't know. Like it's just my that's like my go-to if that makes sense. It's like something might be better, but if I had to order something, it would just be pepperoni straight up.
Okay, yeah, I got
Yeah.
you. Are you like someone who like prioritizes pepperoni over sausage, or do you think like sausage is bullshit, or like you like one of those people, or
Like well, since like if my family were to order pizza, it would be like we would get pepperoni and sausage. Like not at the same like two different ones.
you don't combine
Yeah,
the
so
two?
it's not like I mean we could, but it's just like the priority is getting enough pizza to feed four people as opposed to yeah,
No, that's fair.
just
That's
one
fair.
pizza. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Let's fucking like yeah, I want to like talk about something that just like happened to me this morning. If you don't mind, just like completely branch off topic a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go.
Fucking have you guys ever had a dream that like fucked you up like emotionally, but you have no idea what the dream is about?
Yes, but honestly, I had a dream today that was weird as fuck as well. So we can
Yeah.
talk about that afterwards.
Dude,
All right, excellent. We're going to weird dreams.
yeah,
Love
dude,
it.
like I had a fucking like dream yesterday that I have no idea what it was. I can't remember. I couldn't even remember it when I woke up, but I just remember like waking up and then my eyes just leaking. Like that I was like crying, but like I wasn't sad and I wasn't like actually crying. It was just like my just tears coming out of my eyes. I'm like, what the fuck is happening right now? I'm like, something I experienced while, asleep fucked me up that bad. And I was like,
No, I've never
holy
had
shit.
anything like that. Normally, I wake up and I'm just super dehydrated, super thirsty. Honestly.
Yeah, exactly. I keep water on my desk at all times. So my desk is right next to my bed. So
Water is like the last thing I drink. I think water is the thing I drink when I have no other
I'm having like
option.
4 liters of water a day, so like I have to
That's
be.
good.
I have to be on top
That's
of
the
it.
best possible thing you could do. I get like water maybe I have like water like once every like 2 weeks.
Oh, dude, Jesus
you're gonna
Christ.
die.
Dude, probably. You know what? I'm
This
living
kid's
it up
kidneys are
Yeah,
his kidneys are like a brick.
though.
for
Dude.
real.
I'm living it up. The only way I know how. Fucking All right, Victor. Do you have let's talk a little bit about music and branch away from that fucking weird ass topic.
Yeah.
Victor, got anything to ask?
Yeah. So I mean, what have you been working on recently? Because I mean, as far as like me watching Twitch streams go, I've seen that you've been working with Bandlez a little bit.
Yeah, so we like that the story of how that song actually came about is really interesting. I don't know if I've actually spoken to you guys in particular about this before, but like me and DeAndre were like just playing COD, talking about music, and we were actually talking about collaborating with people and how people get clout denied, where it's like, oh, you're not relevant, so I can't collab with you, even though like the production skill is there, the music is there. It's just you have whatever X amount of
Right,
followers.
right.
And so we were just playing, just like 1v1ing, and he was like, oh yeah, I would make a song with you 100%. And I didn't even ask. I was like, oh, okay. So like literally 15 seconds after that, I was like, here's a project here, work on this right now. Yeah, because I knew I couldn't let that opportunity go by. And so it coincided perfectly because he was deciding, oh, I'm gonna start my live stream. And so the first day of his live stream was actually the first day that he started work on that song, like our song.
Right.
So the whole song from start to finish is was on that live stream, and so it was a very public ordeal. Since then, I've kind of been working on a couple of songs, but nothing like nuts, like not a Bandlez collab or whatever.
Right, right, right.
Yeah.
That's still pretty
Yeah.
banger. Have you released anything like with any labels or stuff like that?
Uh, the biggest thing I've done is I did an official remix for Redline by Lucas, and that's through like his record label. I don't know what his record label is off the top of my head, but that's through his label. Other than that, I don't have any original work on labels now.
Hmm. Is there like any?
I should probably rectify that.
Mm. Is there like anything that you should? Is there any like labels that you like are looking to be a part of, or like, are there any that like interest you in particular for your style of music at least?
I mean, what I like my perspective on releasing with labels is I don't want to I don't want to be like a permanent resident on like on any label, like no like permanent
Oh, yeah,
signing
yeah.
onto Mad Beeson or whatever. I would want to be like I kind of want to be like, if you guys go on my SoundCloud, you can tell that I want to make melodic music and bass music. So I want to be the kind of kid who could go release on Disciple and then turn around and then go and release on like I don't even know what, like Ophelia or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
So right now the labels that are interesting me is obviously Disciple, because I have friends that are like right there in the A&Rs and stuff like that. And then Spirited, probably because they're trying to like revive, and they're kind of like the bar is lower for entry, so I could actually seriously get music on there. So that's where I'm at right now.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, that seems like a pretty fair statement to make. I mean, those are some actually pretty dope ass labels. I mean, Spirited is actually pretty dope. Like, and like you're saying, like the bar is lowered. I don't think it's lowered too much, but I don't think they don't do like what's it? They don't gate for like followers and stuff like that. At least.
Honestly, I didn't realize how important numbers were, like until like obviously I've always known, like if you have big numbers you get like good like show offers and streams and things like that. But there's actually like a lot more game to it than I thought there was. You know, like people, they look at, like some labels don't look at the follower count on this social media, or they prioritize this social media, or like your Spotify is the most important and things like that. And I didn't, so like I've tried before to get music out with Disciple, uh more to let them know that I exist rather than actually trying, you know, just being like, oh hey, like I'm over here, as opposed to like I'm seriously trying.
Mm.
But I was met very quickly with, you only have 20 followers on Spotify and 40 listeners, you know, so like until your numbers are better, like unless you're writing absolute hits, we can't do anything with you yet.
I think that's like total bullshit, honestly.
It
Yes and
whether
no.
or not I agree with it, it's valid, you know,
Yeah,
because
it makes
like
sense.
they're trying to make a check, and if they released my music, like
Yeah.
I would get, like all of the viewers would be from my friends, you know, like people who've already released on Disciple. They'd
Yeah.
be like,
It'd
oh
be
yeah, here you go, look at this kid.
it'd be pretty much, yeah, your only viewers would be people that either are like Disciple hardcore fans and like listen to every release, or like the people that you personally know. Because like like if it's someone like Virtual Riot, people see the name Virtual Riot and they're like, oh shit, and then they go listen to stuff. So yeah, numbers
Yeah,
Yeah, as opposed to
definitely.
someone like me, I have 40 40 viewers on Spotify to bring to the table. So they'd be like, yeah, absolutely not. Like regardless of the SoundCloud numbers or whatever, like SoundCloud is a little bit easier to get plays on than Spotify.
Yeah.
It's a little bit
Right.
more forgiving. Yeah, for sure.
And that's this as well. Sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just saying. That's why I made a remix for the Fallout by Modestep, and I was thinking of putting that out to kind of like putting that out in like next month or something like that, or in a couple weeks here, so that I could. First of all, because I haven't released anything in a while. Like I haven't released anything since May, which is very lazy of me because it's not like I don't have work, but I just want to kind of like get steam from that direction.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say that in terms of like labels and them looking at your Spotify and stuff, the only way I can honestly see them signing a song is if they see you as an investment, right? If you were to sign to them permanently and you had 40 followers, I don't think it would really matter that much. Because again, as long as you stay with them, they'll try to build you up, and then as you build, they'll build as well. So that's like the only way I can really see them if signing you at that point. But
Agreed. That's exactly what they would do. But the likes of Disciple, they like, unless I was on some for real Skrillex shit, they probably wouldn't reach out for a permanent deal. They'd reach out to somebody who was actually making dubstep, actually wanted to do actual dubstep as their primary genre. Like I very much do not want dubstep to be my only genre, so they wouldn't sign something like Strocksu. Especially with the numbers that I have right now. Yeah.
Right.
But what would you say your genre is, like, in particular?
To be honest, I really don't know. I don't really have like a genre in particular. I like to think that I go more for a feeling. You know, like if I had to summarize Strocksu in a word, it would be melancholy. If I really had to put it in a word, and that's kind of what I go for more than genres specifically.
Yeah, okay,
Right.
that makes sense. I mean, like, that's also a really good way, I guess, to go about making your music. If you want to go for a feeling rather than a genre, it's a lot easier, I think, to do that rather than to, you know, be like, because if you sit down and you're like, I'm gonna make dubstep today, it's like that usually doesn't really work out. It's more like you just have
Absolutely.
like a feeling or just something in mind to like kind of, you know, drive you in a direction.
It's like somehow I just like manage to. It's just like the way that music comes naturally to me is like it has this kind of emotion weaved into it. Even though I don't sit down, I'm like, damn, I'm gonna make you cry today. Like that's not how I approach it. I'm like I do sit down and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna write dubstep today because I want to practice. I have goals. You know, I want to get better. Disciple. You know, whatever. So like it'll be like, okay, I'll make dubstep today, but then it turns into some weirdo emotional thing. If you listen to the tunes, you can tell.
I mean, like, no one sits down and says they're gonna make something and then it comes out exactly what they said they were gonna make.
Yeah, absolutely not. That's like people who do that, like that's a superhuman ability, but that also means like it's kind of robotic, you know, to not have. Like I've had it happen multiple times where I even have like a melody in my head. I go to draw it verbatim, and then like I'll misclick like a note or something, or accidentally move it down an octave, and I'll be like, "Oh wait, that's actually way better than what I was originally doing." It happens all the time.
Yeah, and I mean as much as you listen to it as well, like I don't know, for me at least, I'll like listen to the same part 600 times while like just changing minor things and just improving on it slightly. So like the end product is 100% going to be different from what I started with. So
yeah, I'm very much a. This is something that I definitely like. I've been trying to work on and improve, especially since the collab with Bandlez. Because watching that live stream, it made me realize like he works so much harder than I do on my songs. Like I'll make like an entire song in like 2 days, and that will be the export. Like that will be the version that comes out, you know, like I'll sit down, I'll write it, I'll get it done, and then it'll sit there on my SoundCloud just like cooking away for like a month, and then I'll release it. And it's very lazy of me because you need to add you need to add those details. You need to spend the time on the mix. And watching DeAndre work very much inspired me to try harder and
Right.
mix better and add more details and all that shit.
Yeah, I feel that. Like I definitely, I'm not the greatest when it comes to like using Ableton yet, because I have the ideas and stuff like that, but it's like I'm still learning how to execute everything, like in the in the proper manner.
Execution is the key.
Yeah, and it's like watching like streams, like watching production streams. I've definitely like been there's definitely a drive to like learn more, because the streams make it look easy. So you're like, I want to fucking be able to do it just like that. So I like put in the effort.
Yeah, it's all about the
yeah.
practice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it always looks easy, but then when you sit down and actually start doing shit,
It's like
then you realize how difficult it
it's
is.
like bro, he wrote that drop in like fucking 2 minutes. It's like if he could do it, I can do it. And then you're sitting there for
He has like 10
3
years of
hours, and you're
experience.
like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the whole it's the simple but not easy dilemma.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
How often do you get stuck like working on a track?
Oh, all the time. All the time. Absolutely all the time. Like it's like I've been trying to get better about this, like a little bit more disciplined, but I'll make music in like 20-minute bursts. It'll be like 20 minutes and then I'll go watch like a whole episode of whatever, like something on Netflix, and then I'll come back and then or like I'll pause Netflix after like 15 minutes and then go back. Not because I don't have ideas, but just like I go and then I like rest it and then I go
Refresh
and
your
rest
brain.
it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But it's probably bad because I've also like DeAndre will sit there. He sat there for, and worked on the R song. It was just like 4 hours straight,
Hmm.
3 days in a row, and I was like, okay, I need to start doing at least like an hour burst, not 20 minutes, then 30 minutes off for 6 hours. You know, it should just be 3 hours done.
Yeah, because I mean, I would keep doing it until you feel burnt out, honestly, or just like when you feel like you genuinely don't have anything else to contribute.
I feel like
then go do something.
I feel like
yeah.
do it do it until you're like starting to get burnt out. So like you're not completely burnt
Yeah.
out, just like up into the point where you're like, if I keep going this route, I'm gonna be done for the day.
hate this song or some shit. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been trying to, like, as I said, I've been trying to work for like longer periods of time at once. But another like I've been like I'll take like an hour off and I'll go like lift or I'll go eat or whatever. And sometimes or like most of the time I'll eat dinner and then lift. So I take like it's like a whole 3 hours where I'm not listening to music or doing anything, and then I can come back and then start working again, or like I'll go play video games with the guys in Discord or whatever.
Oh yeah.
It makes it easier to kind of like rest your ears, rest your brain, because you can't be creative all the time.
And did you ever come back and just like, I completely hate this idea, and then completely rechange it, like change it completely?
Oh, all the time. Well, actually, I'm not really a big idea changer. I'm more of a like, this is a really toxic habit I'm realizing, but like I'll make the whole song, and if the idea is bad, I'll just be like, okay, so I'm just never gonna make something like this again. But then I'll have recorded some guitar for it or something, and then I'm like, okay, so now I can't use any of this again. So I just blew the guitar, I blew the bass line, the vocal chop, everything, like just wasted it all
Damn.
because the drop was bad.
Right.
So I've been trying to think about like, just if the song was bad or not that great, I'll go back and like save part of it and then use it in something else.
Yeah.
Right. And then how long would you say like the time frame for songs kind of like, say that you like leave a song, right? And you're just like, I don't know what to do with it. Come back 6 months from now, or it's like, what's the time frame? Because I feel like for me at least, I'll like make a song and then like 3 months later, I'm just like, this is complete dog shit compared to what I've been doing beforehand. I mean, now.
I'm very much an advocate of finish your songs if you can't come up with an idea for it. Like I've had songs where like I can't come up with an idea for it on the spot, and like I'll come back like a day later or like 3 days later, and then I get something going. Whether or not that's trash is subjective. But
Right.
like if I start an idea, it's better to just finish it, because you don't because you will improve. You know, like if you're at like 12 years of production experience and make something that's bad, then probably just delete it. But if you're
Right.
at like 4 years, like or where I am or where you are, it's better to just get it done, make it horrible, and move on.
Got it.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah,
that
because
way.
sometimes I'll have. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say like that way you actually learn something even though you're making garbage.
Learning what not to do is almost equally as important as learning what to do, because
Right.
you make less mistakes and you move faster. Like people like whenever I was like I would talk to Tracy about like making music or whatever, and he'd be like, I don't know how you're such a robot, you can make a song in like 2 days. And it's like i I know what works, and then like I know what works, and then I try to experiment with that instead of trying to go like a completely different direction into something that I know won't work, because I know
Right.
it doesn't work.
Because you have that experience, right?
Right.
Mm. Like, okay, is there like a place or like is there somewhere that like you get somewhere sometime that you get like the ideas that like are your best ideas? Like you just get like flooded with ideas rather than like when you're working outside of when you're
um
doing anything.
I mean, this is actually, it's really ironic. Whenever I can't produce, like physically cannot, like I'm not at my computer or I don't have access to it or like whatever. That's when that's the only time I get ideas in general. Like I'm not really a big um get ideas guy. I like sit in Ableton, I'll find somewhere to start, and then it'll just kind of ebb and flow and move along and make the whole song. But like I'll get like a sick idea while I'm at the gym, and it'll be in the first 5 minutes that I'm there, and then it's like, oh yeah, here we are, an hour and 45 minutes later. I don't even remember what it sounds like.
Oh
Right.
yeah. I feel that. Like I get my best ideas when I'm like when I'm in the bathroom or whatever. When I'm like either in the
Hmm.
bathroom or taking a shower or something. I'll be like I'll just be like fucking I don't know beatboxing to myself and I'm like oh shit that would be cool if like I actually made that sound like something and then I just completely forget about it by the time I'm out of the bathroom.
Right.
Yeah,
I'm like
I've heard
fuck.
a lot of people sing their ideas into their phone,
Yeah, I was
or
gonna say that
like
Sun Holo does that.
mm,
So, but it's also kind of difficult to like like. You might like listen to it and be like, "What did I even record? Like, what the fuck did I just put in my phone?" Right. So,
yeah, of course, that's a big problem.
yeah.
Ugh.
And
Johnny
then,
Boy, speak
yeah,
to
go
us.
for it.
John Boy, let's speak. Let's go. You haven't said much. Let's go.
Alright, so from aside music and everything, like how have you been doing like during quarantine, like everything?
During quarantine, to be honest, I've been doing pretty great. Like I've been eating, just like I've been up to the same old stuff. I've just had to do it all at home.
So like
Just
music.
making music, lifting and eating. That's basically it. Just chilling, playing video games on Discord and whatever.
Would you say you're more productive now or before quarantine?
Probably more, I would say. Or maybe about the same. I've been a little bit more disciplined about things. You know, like I'll be waking up more reasonably, like eating better. I've been losing weight, which is great. Um, Lifting at the same time every day, you know, like that kind of thing.
Right.
That
I've been trying to
is
get my music production discipline in order, like work for a certain amount of time at this time, that kind of thing.
that's a lot more than I can say for myself. So, you know, good on you for that. I've
Cheers.
been waking up like I usually wake up like sometime a few hours past noon. I'm not usually sure what time, but it's like I usually wake up late.
Oh, I don't want to give anybody any wrong ideas. Anybody that's listening, like I'm the kind of guy I'll go to bed at 9 p.m. and wake up at 5 a.m. But I'm also the kind of guy that will go to bed at noon and wake up at like 8 p.m.
Hmm.
Like yeah,
Sleep schedules everywhere.
yeah. I've had my sleep schedule be completely awful before. I've gone to bed at like 8 p.m. Because my sleep schedule was so backwards that I actually went to bed at a good time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting to that point. Like, I mean, last night I think I went to bed at like 6 in the morning, and I was like, okay. And it's like, if I continue on this path, I'll just eventually cycle back around to where I'm going to sleep at a normal time.
Exactly, that's what I do. Like, your sleep schedule is bad when you go to bed when the sun's up and you wake up
Oh,
when it's
yeah.
dark.
Oh, yeah.
Rough.
Yeah.
Going to sleep at like 6 a.m.
No.
Yeah. Nope.
Luckily, it doesn't feel
No.
that bad because it's like summer now. So it's like, I'll go to bed when the sun's up, and I'll wake up when the sun's up, and I'll be like, all right, cool. I'll be like, it wasn't that bad.
It's just like having a good sleep schedule has always like I've had like a lot of problems with mental health, and I realized that a big part of that is having a horrendous sleep schedule. Like if I'm going to bed at 4 in the morning and waking up at 1 p.m. or whatever, and then the next day I'll go to bed at like 8 p.m. and wake up at 3 or something ridiculous. Like you're not going to be in a good headspace ever.
Right.
Especially if you're exercising on top of that, which I have been. So it's just, you get very toxic very fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'd say like diet also contributes to that as well. I mean, if you're eating like shitty food all the time, at least like back in the day, I used to like drink Arizona like every day.
I feel like
And
you're
like
just,
I really
I feel like you're just trying to like call me out on things that I do at this point.
no. But anyways, so I used to drink like Arizona almost every day. Like maybe like I'd buy the like packs of them. Like I don't know how many are even in there anymore. Like maybe 8, whatever amount there's in there, 16. And I would drink them, and I would probably drink like 3 or 4 of them in a sitting. And then the amount of sugar on the back of them, bro, I remember having like heart issues because of it, and I felt like shit all the time. And one thing that I did was switch to drinking water. Basically, that's it. I still drink coffee here and there, but even coffee's pretty shitty, to be honest. So even just like normal food, again, like because of my sleep schedule, I'd be like waking up past breakfast. I would miss breakfast, and then I would go straight to school. So I'd miss lunch essentially, because college is a lot more different in terms of just like eating lunch, right? I'd have classes from
Right.
maybe like 11 till like 6. I get home, I'm tired, I'll eat dinner, and then go back to sleep. So like I was eating like once a day almost. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Bro,
that definitely had an issue. Definitely had a lot to do with that.
when I was in college, like whenever I was like actually living on campus, like in my apartment over there, I would have a big problem. Like, so I wouldn't be like cooking for myself a lot because I'm very lazy. I'm gonna be very upfront. So it'd be a lot of takeout food, And if you eat like 2 takeout meals a day and breakfast, that's like 3,500 calories or something. So you get fat fast. And so
Not to
what I
mention
was
it costs a lot too.
yeah, exactly. So what I started doing was like I would just have breakfast, and then I would go to class and I would lift, and then I would just get Chipotle at night, and then it would be like a 2,100 calorie meal at the end of the day. And I'm not sure if that was a good idea either, because it like you feel great or whatever, but you need to like make sure that you're getting food throughout the day, not just like all at once.
Yeah, because there are those like fasts where you just eat one meal a day, but it's a lot. I don't remember what it's called necessarily.
That's
but
that's basically what I was doing. I mean, that's intermittent fasting, I'm pretty
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
And that's basically what I was doing. It would be like a bowl of Cheerios in the morning at like 10 a.m. And then the next time I would eat was like 7 p.m. So like I was going out, like it's not cute. Like you go into the gym and then you go to squat like 300 pounds, and then you're getting cramps because you're so hungry, like in your stomach and your diaphragm
Yeah.
and stuff.
I
It's
had
not great.
I had like the shittiest eating schedule when I was like in high school, because I wouldn't eat breakfast, because I was like I would always try to take my time in the morning, and I was like I don't want to get up like super early. And just like I want to get up to at the exact point where I can just take a shower and then go to class. So I wouldn't eat breakfast, and then I never liked the school lunches, so I never ate lunch in school. And so I was there until like from like 8 to 3, and I didn't eat anything. And then I didn't want my mom to worry though, so I didn't say that I didn't eat lunch. I would say like, oh yeah, I had lunch, so I just didn't eat up until dinner. So I didn't end up eating anything until like 6 or 7 p.m. each day, which like it fucked me over a lot in the long run. But
Bro, it's not even about the eating schedule. It's also about like I swear to God, I was actually talking to this about my with my brother. Like I really think the environment they create in high school is just ridiculously toxic
oh
for
yeah,
kids' mental health. You know, like your hormones are going freakazoid. You're like you're depressed, or you're stressed out. You're tired, depressed, and stressed out. You know, like how is that not an like that's not an environment that creates anything productive. You know, like they're the kids who commit suicide or drop out of high school because of bullying, and I really think it's just because of that environment. Like you're waking up insanely early. They're telling you like if you don't do well in this class, it's the end of the world. You know, if you don't do well in the SAT, your life is over. You know, that's very stressful,
yeah,
and you're depressed, and you're hormonal, and you're tired. You
yeah.
know, it's not great.
Like
Yeah.
everyone is like everyone constantly like told me it's like, oh, it's like college is the most you got to get into a good college, it's the most important thing, and it's like if you don't do it you're gonna like end up on the street or whatever. And right now I'm sitting here a college dropout and I'm like, all right, I'm doing kind of all right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people. Yeah, that's a big lesson that I have to pass on to like the that I would have to pass on to the next generation. It's like it's very much not the end of the world. If you don't kiss a girl in high school, that's not the end of the world.
Oh yeah.
If you don't get your license, it's not. If you if that kid over there is stronger than you in the weight room, that's not the end of the world. You know, like
Yeah, you don't have
whatever. You get a D, that's not the end of the world. It's not.
you don't have to be the best at everything. You just have to not be the worst, and then you're fine.
Yeah, like and even if you are, you know, just go find something else that you're good at. You know, like if you're not good at school, like go lift weights. You know, if that's not your thing, go run. If that's not your thing, go like
Do
I don't know, like
something.
go to a trade school.
Yeah.
Yeah, like start making
You're
tunes.
not
You know, that's
yeah,
something that
no one's ever going to be like the worst person at everything. You're always going to there's always something that everyone's going to be better at. So like
yeah, like
fucking
it's not about competing with that guy.
yeah,
It's about
working on your strengths.
bettering yourself,
Yeah.
you know?
Work on your strengths rather than like that was like one of the
Or work on
things.
your weaknesses and make them stronger.
Oh yeah, that's fair too. I mean, like I was always like super depressed cuz like my sister was always like the better academic student and she's like younger than me. So that was like super embarrassing. I was like she always did better in school, but that's like I just didn't have the ability to concentrate. But
Yeah.
like so I put my time into working on like things that were I put my time into working to do better in school so I could like, you know, tell my parents like, "Hey, look, she's not better than me. I finally did it." But
Yeah,
also
there's this oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just saying like I also like put in all my most of my effort into doing other things like um I mean, I just did a fuck ton of like right now I'm like a manager for like a few artists cuz like I just wanted to work with music and stuff like that, period.
Right.
So,
Respect.
you were going to say?
Oh, I was just saying like there's a lot of pressure to do well academically, and there's not a lot of kind of like creative fields aren't really like looked upon like, oh wow, you know, that's something you should pursue. Sick.
Oh yeah.
You know, yeah.
I,
I was there was something else that I was gonna say that I've totally forgot what I was gonna say, and it was actually a really good point.
I totally fucking
Fuck.
agree with that though. It's like it's whenever I said like I told my parents like or I told anyone in my family that like I want to pursue music as a career, they're like what they'd like look at me like what the hell is wrong with this kid? Like that's not a real job, quote unquote. I'm like,
Yeah, I mean, what I will say is, like, oh, actually, this is the point that I was gonna make. So, like, I very much am not like an academically oriented person. So, like, I'm not stupid, but I'm not sitting here getting straight A's either. So, like, whenever I was in high school, like, I had a lot of mental health problems in high school, and that's why I'm a very big advocate for like mental health awareness and like a lot of reform in that aspect. Um, but like I would go to school and I wouldn't try very hard or whatever, and then I would come home and I would just like play video games and eat because those are the only things that made me feel good, like or feel anything. And so, like the irony there is that time I spent playing COD and getting really good at that is actually paying off now because like I can make music connections that way. You know, they're like, oh yeah, I have this kid who's fucking sick at COD. Let me invite him. You know,
Yeah.
so then I meet so and so, and like that's actually how I became friends with DeAndre and got that collab. And then also how I became friends with Ray Volpe is like I played Fortnite with him, and then I played COD with DeAndre. It was not my music didn't earn me those friendships.
Oh
It was
yeah.
very much video
I
games.
feel like, well, I mean, I feel like also in just that sense, music shouldn't be the thing that earns you those friendships. It like,
Agreed.
because it's, um, if anything, it's like you should not be able to. You should not be like, he should be my friend because like we make good music, or he should be my friend because like I have this many followers or some shit. No, it should be like you two just get
Yeah.
along, and then that's just how it is. I mean, that's how I met. That's basically how I met DeAndre. I met him as like I met DeAndre and Vishal, and James was there too. I met them as like a fan, because I was just the It's Pizza Time guy. So I was just like, yo, what up? Want to get pizza? I just like shot them a DM. It's like, want to get pizza? And then because they knew me for that thing, and I was like, and they were like, sure, fuck it, why not? And it was really weird, but eventually like we got to talking, and then we just became like closer friends that way. It's just
Mhm.
Yeah, for sure. It's extremely important. If any up and comer or up and coming or like whatever aspiring DJ, if you want to know, like you don't have to be friends with everybody.
Yeah.
You know, like if you don't get along with Control Freak or you don't get along with Ray Volpe or you don't get along with me, your career or whatever will still be fine.
Yeah,
You can
it's not
still
over.
prosper. You know, like you don't have to be friends. Like you can get signed to Mad Decent. Like you can get signed to Mad Decent without being friends with every single person on there. You can get signed to Ausla without being Skrillex's best friend. You don't have to get along with him. You know, it's just
Yeah,
like just do yourself.
be
Work on
you.
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's like
exactly.
if people don't like you for you, then that's like you shouldn't have to like spend your time trying to change yourself to for people to like you, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Like that's kind of the essence of my like all the bios on all my socials. It just says be yourself, period, because that's like very near and dear to my heart is like not being the same as everyone else. Like I've had a couple of people tell me like, oh yeah, Strocksu is like that's not a relatable brand or whatever. It's like I've never been relatable. Nobody's ever related to me, you know, like I like why start now, you know, like I want my music to be different than everybody else. I'm different than everybody else, so why would I want to relate to you?
That, and then also people are also not taking you seriously in terms of your music, right? Or just like, again,
Yeah,
you're yourself. Fuck everything else. Fuck branding. Honestly, if you don't like me for my music or who I am as a person, like, why do I care what you think? You know?
yeah, like I know that I still have space to improve with my music, but there is space, of course. There's space for catchy brands. Like if you have a brand that's like not very complicated, it's not hard to relate to. It's you know like you get a lot further a lot faster. Like the bar is lower when your brand is catchy. So like you have to write mega hits when you have no brand, and you have to write like decent music with a great brand. You know,
Right.
to go further, the same distance rather. But like sometimes I have this problem where I'm like, oh, I want a catchier brand, and then I'm also like, why don't I just work harder? Why don't I just go the extra mile to make what I want reality?
Exactly. I think you should definitely do whatever you want, seriously. Like, again, it's not about followers and shit at the end of the day. Unless you're like, you genuinely just want to sit there and make money off of this stuff. But then you're making music a business rather than a passion.
You always want to, if your goal is to make music for a living, you just have to consider both. You know, you can make any brand. Like I took a whole class like in college, and one of the lessons was branding, and like you can literally make any idea into a brand. You know, like it's all about like just how you present it. It's so just some brands are easier to present than others. Like if your brand is fitness or like like lifting or whatever, like deadlift, that's very not hard to describe. It's right there.
Right.
That which is why, and like with Marshmallow, it's like the brand is right there. There's no elaborating. That's it. Like, so that's why like those are successful faster, as opposed to something like Strocksu, where it's very abstract, and I need to develop my branding way more. It's like,
Yeah.
it's very not in your face.
I mean, at least you have something unique going for you. I mean, for me, it's iNDiGO. Like, how many fucking bands out there are called iNDiGO? That's like a lot, probably.
Like, what's funny is that I know this one artist that he doesn't even go by the name iNDiGO, but on his PayPal, it's iNDiGO.
See, that's like I fucked up in choosing my name like a lot. I mean, I guess I make it kind of unique in the capitalization or some bullshit, but it's like no, but it's like that doesn't matter when you're looking it up. So
That, and then also I would say that, I mean, it probably works well on like t-shirts, right, for the capitalization, but I wouldn't say that people can like, again, relate to that in a way.
yeah, no, people
I
can't
don't
relate
know.
to a fucking color of the rainbow. So it's like
No,
Yeah,
no. The color they can relate to, because it's like, I would say it's a feeling almost. Like indigo is a type of like, I don't know, like melancholic, just like Strocksu said earlier, like, or sadness or some shit like that. But I would say just like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say,
yeah,
honestly.
me neither, Victor. It's you and I both.
Yeah.
Like they're I would say like you can have a brand or a name for your project, right? Like there's such a thing as bad names, but like it's pretty much just bad names and then names, because you can make any brand successful as long as you don't have like a bad name or a bad brand, because there is such a thing where it's like,
Yeah,
like it's relatable to the wrong crowd, or it's like or it's not relatable to the kind of people that you're trying to pursue. Like if you're a dubstep brand and you're relating to like melodic like Millennium crap, like then it's not gonna move fast for you.
yeah,
Right. Yeah, I'm having trouble branding myself, honestly, because the name that I've been using for the past couple of years on just like Steam and just like everybody who knows me by is Lucius. But the problem is that there's already like a girl band called Lucius. I don't even know if they make music anymore. But if I were to take that name, I'd probably get hit by like copyright strikes and whatever. And even if I was to like change like and put like underscores or just like change it slightly, it wouldn't work out. Like it still wouldn't be just the name itself, which kind of sucks. So honestly, for me, like I'm still either trying to develop a name, but at the same time, I'm like, might as well maybe just like go by my first name as well. So
Yeah, I mean, that's my biggest blessing with having the name Strocksu. Like it's like I remember I went to a show and I was talking to some manager guy backstage, and he was telling me, he was like it's a decently strong name, but what does it mean? And I was like, at that time I hadn't taken that class on branding yet, or like that class on being an artist for a living or whatever. So at that time I was like, that's a good point. It actually means literally nothing. And then like after taking that class on branding and giving it some thought and everything like that, I was like, oh wait, like Strocksu's me, like that's like it's whatever I so decide. Like, so there's me, Steven, and then Strocksu. Like I want it to be kind of separate. Like so I'm talking as like myself right now. So I don't want Strocksu to be kind of like like literally me.
right,
But
right.
it's what I decide for it to be. It doesn't have to be like Marshmallow or whatever.
Yeah, there's like
it's
separation in a
actually
way.
a thing.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
And like I've seen artists like Dylan Francis also take up like separate monikers, like DJ Hansel. Like he has like his own like deep stuff or whatever, but he also has Dylan Francis, right? And it's the same thing with Deadmau5, where he makes music as Deadmau5, but then he also has Test Pilot for like trance stuff and like hidden like more like low key things, right? Because once you get big enough, people will see you as, oh, this is Dead Mouse, right? And they expect a certain thing from you. And they can't really experiment much because if they put out music as Dead Mouse, and I don't know if he throws like a melodic track out, people are like, what the fuck is this? Right? So like having a separate
Yeah.
moniker as well, and like having your name be separate from what you are as a person is also good. So yeah. At least for
Yeah.
me, since I'm still starting out and if I'm still experimenting, I think for me, I think it would be fine to just use my first name. But I do want to end up try to develop some decent branding.
It's all what you make it. It's not what about like having a fire name. Like having like you see the thing is having a cool name or a cool brand or a cool idea or cool art makes it easier. It doesn't do it for you.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Right.
Like you still bare minimum have to have tight records, and then all of those things on top of it make it easier. Like tight brand, like when you have the whole package, tight brand, tight music, tight name, whatever, you go far fast.
Yeah.
As opposed
Right.
to if you have zero brand, zero name, but sick music, then you go slower.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I'm also
so,
looking at it through legacy as well. So say like I don't know, say like in the future, right? Your grandpa Strocksu, right? Grandpa Steven, right? And your kid is like, hey, what is Strocksu? Right? Like what would you tell them, you know?
look, it was me, and it was my message to tell everybody else, like, don't be afraid to be yourself. I'm so I don't know if I've illustrated this fully enough yet. So I got one more thing to add
Sure.
is I'm so intent on the whole, like, be unique, don't be like everybody else. I literally did a presentation about it in college. Like I took a presentations class, and
Oh.
I no,
I think John crashed.
well, we lost John Boy. But I was saying, I literally did a presentation about it,
Oh, there he is.
and that was like I got 100 on that presentation because everyone was like, that was so real. We could tell you cared a lot about it, and I was like, yeah, I really do.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
All right.
Yeah, for me. Sorry.
No, go
Go
for
ahead.
it. I just said all right because I was like trying to fill space.
Okay.
yeah, there was a lull in the conversation.
I was gonna say like yeah, for me, like legacy wise, I mean, being grandpa being a grandpa in the future and then having my kid come up to me and be like, yo, so like what is this stupid name that you came up with, right? Because I'm thinking about like people in the past that you've used like Megadeth, right? But like Deth, right? And I'm just like,
Right.
I don't know if I would want to be known by like something like that, right? Or like
Yeah,
something.
but it's all about what you accomplished. Like if you're uh in the Metallicas or the Slipknots of the world, like they're gonna ask you, they're gonna be like, yeah, like what's Slipknot? And it's gonna be like, oh yeah, the like the biggest metal band that ever walked the earth.
Right.
Like forget the name. It's all about what
Mhm.
you accomplished. Like, oh, we had our own tours, huge music videos,
Yeah.
and video games and movies, and yeah, like you could recognize us on the street.
Right. That's absolutely
It's
true.
like it doesn't matter
Yeah.
how fucking dog shit or like dumb your fucking name is. It's like whatever you do with it, that's what matters. It's like
Exactly.
there's some names out there that I think are fucking like ridiculously stupid, and it's like but they're still doing something for themselves, and like the name is sometimes playing a role in it, and it's like in the end it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter like what anybody thinks of your name because it's like if they're talking about your name, that's kind of like the goal, right?
That's true.
Yeah, and like the thing with Strocksu is I'm trying to kind of have the logo be the kind of catchier, simpler part. Because if you look, like, it's not my profile picture on Discord right now, but it's my profile picture on
Yeah,
SoundCloud and Twitter and Instagram. It's super simple, captures the essence of the brand, in my opinion. Very simple, and like so instead of Strocksu being a super easy name, because apparently it's super hard. I was actually at this weird show bar thing that my friend brought me to, and he was like, "How do you spell that?" And I was like, "It's spelled exactly how it sounds. I don't know how else you could spell it, but that's something that I've been considering." I was like, "How hard is Strocksu to spell?"
It shouldn't be. I think it's just like, I mean, with a lot of names that like you'd have to ask nowadays like how to spell it, because like everybody usually adds their own little like flair to it, I guess. Nothing with artist names is usually exactly how it sounds. Like even Marshmallow, it's like he, obviously he took like the end of the actual word and replaced it with ELLO rather than the actual, so people would have to
Right.
ask how to spell that. So having something being spelled exactly how it sounds is like, I guess, a little more uncommon, like in the sense of just
Yeah,
how names go.
I could see how Strocksu might have like a different spelling than the way that it sounds, but I can't like I can only imagine like two spellings.
Yeah, I was
You
gonna
know?
say like there's only U and O that I could really just like flip out from each other.
Yeah, like because it's not stylized. Again, it's exactly how it
Yeah,
sounds.
no
So
one's
it's-
gonna be like, how do you spell Strocksu? Oh, STRAWKSEI.
O
LSTER.
Some
EAU. Yeah, yeah.
no one's gonna do that. It's like
Yeah.
yeah.
I would just hope people would have some semblance of a brain.
I think you're good. I think that's like what.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think you're good. Like at having a name that's like good being spelled. That's like the one thing that's good about like iNDiGO though, is the fact that everybody knows how to spell it. But I mean, yeah, I think Strocksu is like I think you're good. I don't think anybody could misspell Strocksu unless they
Yeah,
tried.
and plus, even if you get close, like I'm still the only thing that comes up. When you look up Strocksu, I'm the only thing that comes up. And if somebody else comes up, it's because my work is in there, whatever.
Right.
So it like I win, honestly. Like people were like, "Oh yeah, that's a weird name. It's not relatable." Like,
But there's so
yeah,
few,
but I'm the
Yeah.
only thing that like you look up Strocksu, I'm the only thing that comes up on SoundCloud.
which is what you want. Yeah, because if I were to put my first name in, and if I did that as branding, a billion things will show up. So
Yeah, exactly. Like Victor Niglio would come up way
Yeah.
before you. He'd be like the first result.
exactly.
But
Unless
Ye-
you popped way off and you were like Marshmallow of dubstep like,
Yeah.
out of nowhere. Yeah, maybe.
That if I did marketing too and just owned the site Victor, which is probably impossible. So
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah.
yeah, definitely dub. John, you got any questions after your Discord crash?
I didn't really crash. My internet is like shut down. Yeah. So since you know how you make music, right?
right.
Do you have any like inspirations or anyone who like helps you?
In terms of musical inspiration, like honestly, I don't really know. It's hard. Like I don't get like stricken with inspiration, if that makes sense. I just listen to music that I think is cool, and then just like go make records. Like just
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
write tunes after. Like I've been listening to a lot more like metalcore and like rock and like metal and things like that. So I've been listening to like Polaris and In Heart's Wake and like Fire from the Gods and things like that. Like very like super sick, super not dubstep.
Yeah.
So it's like because I've been recording my own guitar and stuff like that and putting it in my songs. So I pull a lot of inspiration out of those songs because it's like, oh, I wonder how they did that, and so I can look up the tabs and change it and make it my own for my own song.
Right. It's always refreshing to listen to other people's music as well. Because, I mean, the type of music that you make might not necessarily coincide with what you listen to, right?
Of course
So
not.
I listen to a lot of rap and R&B, but I also listen to a lot of EDM. But I primarily make EDM, right? But I do take elements of trap and R&B and try to fuse it into my music now. But it doesn't
That's the key.
necessarily mean that I make rap and R&B. So.
Right.
Mm.
The like I mean my friends very inspire me heavily for like my dubstep stuff. So like I have Control Freak and like Ray Volpe, like they'll send their songs that are like, oh yeah, here's my work in progress, and it's like literally better than any dubstep I've ever made
Yeah.
ever. So it's like it while it doesn't like I'm not really a big copycat. Like I don't really mess with that. So I would it inspires me to want to get better. It's like, okay,
Mhm.
so their dubstep shits on mine. So now I got to go and get better. I'm going to go make a dubstep tune to get better. Like that's what. So instead of getting inspired to like with an idea, I'll get inspired with like okay, So now I'm gonna put this sick guitar riff in my song, or try and make this cool sound now. Yeah.
I'd say that also listening to other people's music is also kind of like, or within your same area, right? Like, say, like right now I'm learning how to make mid tempo because I really love that type of music and I want to make it, right? But listening to other people's mid tempo, like after like making stuff, I'm like, these people do it so much better than I do, and sometimes it kind of like not demotivates me, but I say like while I am inspired by them, I also not see them as competition, but just I'm comparing myself to them, which I shouldn't be, because again I
You have
have
to
so many
healthily
years.
compare.
Yeah, I have so many years of I don't know experience, but then they have so much more, right? So it could be a good thing and it could be a bad thing, but I think that's
Yeah.
just a toxic trait that I have. So yeah,
You always like, okay, so to be like, another fact of the matter is like, if you want to play shows with the likes of like whoever your idol is, you know, like if you want to play Dead Mouse shows, you need to make competitive Dead Mouse music, you know, like period. So you have to um like, your production quality has to be there, your melodies have to be there, and the only way to do that is to compare yourself with
right,
those people. Um it's not about there's as tight as you think you are, and then you have to go and seek the opinions of the people who actually will get you somewhere, you know. And if they're like, okay, you're not as tight as you think you are, then you have work to do. If they're like, you're sick, then you're golden.
Yeah.
But you have to be comparing yourself, but
Right.
healthily. Of course, I'll be like,
Yeah.
I'm complete trash compared to so and so.
yeah, yeah,
But
You just have to brush that
Yeah.
off and just be like, okay,
You-
time to go get better.
yeah, no one. You should not have like the thought that like, oh, I'm like this person is just so much better than me. It's more so you should be asking yourself why they're so much better than you and like what you could learn from
how can you
that.
get there?
It's like,
Yeah, and like, ask them. You know, like I had this conversation with DeAndre, and this sentiment didn't occur to me before, and like when he said it, I was like, oh, this is so true. He was like, if if you like what someone's doing, ask them how they do it, and if they don't tell you, or if they give you a hard time about it, then forget that person. You know, like I like Control Freak put out his EP on Disciple recently, and I was like, hey, how do you make sounds? And he just showed me. You know, like, he didn't give me a hard time. He didn't ask why. He just did it. You know, because it's not like a trade secret. Like, if you're friends with somebody, they should be willing to help you.
yeah,
Right.
Like, period.
yeah.
Yeah.
A little secret. Pretty much any producer is like itching to talk about music. Like that's kind of like what they love to talk about. So it's like you asking them like more so how they did it rather than like just saying, oh, it's cool or whatever. It's like that's something that like they probably don't deal with on a daily basis and they would like it.
Yeah,
But be careful. You know, like,
Yeah,
don't
over
like,
push your
don't-
boundaries.
Yeah, like, if like I just said, like, oh, I asked Control Freak, but like me and him have been friends for years, so I wouldn't go up to like Skrillex and expect a production tutorial, you know, because these guys have private lessons and that kind of thing, where like,
Yeah.
you have to pay for their time. You know, like, you can get little bits of advice or little bits of feedback, but if you want meaningful, actual time learning from them, not just like real quick, hey, how did you do that? And it's just like, oh yeah, I put this EQ, put this frequency shift or whatever. Like, if you want to actually learn, then you have to pay them for their time.
Yeah,
Like,
it's like,
unfortunately.
yeah, just like, you know, don't expect them to like they're not obligated to do anything.
Exactly. It's not about what you want, it's about how you go about it.
Yeah, if they're nice enough to just, you know, do it like without pay and just do it, you know, just cause, then it's like, you know, take advantage, not take advantage, but like, you know, take the opportunity and be like, don't think that it's gonna be like that forever.
And yes, take full, like, don't exploit them for that opportunity, but take what you learned and like,
Yeah,
go to the maximum with it. Like, don't, like, if you hire like whatever, like Ray, for a lesson, and he teaches you something, like, you should don't do what he taught you, take what he taught you and go a mile more with it, you know, like, use it on something else, make something else with
Yeah.
it, because that's how that's how you get better.
Yeah.
That's how you make music that's going to pop you off, because you're never going to beat the creator of a sound with their own sound. So you're never going to be bigger than Ray copying Ray.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Exactly.
which is huge, and people don't realize that. They're like, "Oh, I have to make Virtual Riot Rhythm to pop off,"
No.
and like, no, you don't. You really don't.
Yeah, it's just like there's a reason that most of the people that are like are like super popular are like the first people to do like their kind of thing. 'Cause it's like they
Exactly.
they took it and did something different with it.
Yeah, and it can be like the same thing that other people are doing. Like there are plenty of people popping off in dubstep right now, but like you can't sit down and be like, okay, like this guy and this guy sound exactly the same. There's no such thing. Like if they're both like doing something, like they're both popular or whatever, they're probably originators of their own sound, even though it's within a genre.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Well, on that note, I think we're reaching about the end of the episode time. So,
Ooh.
Yeah, that was quick.
yeah.
Yeah, it was very quick.
So, with that said, Strocksu, or anything that you wanna like, any final words you wanna give?
Be yourself. That's it.
All right, that good words. Strocksu, you wanna plug anything? Like,
Follow me on Spotify, because apparently I need that. And follow me on SoundCloud. That's Strocksu, and spell it how you will. I'm sure you'll find me.
all right, sick, cool. Yeah, everything for Steven or Strocksu will be in the description of wherever you're seeing this. Same thing for the podcast. You'll find all of our stuff down there, all of our individual stuff down there. And yeah, thank you everybody so much for tuning in, and we'll see you all in the next episode.
Bye.
Peace.